Welcome. Welcome. My name's Brian Knight and I live near Melbourne in Australia, and it's just after 5 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday. How you going, Tom?
Brian, how are you, young man?
not that young. All right, let's start off. We'll put this one up here. So I've lost it. Anyway, welcome to this live FOREX analysis session. Just note any trades discussed in this group are to be classed as educational only. That's because we're a group of people helping each other and we are not financial advisors. So if you're going to take any trades, you need to be happy with them and they need to be based on your own analysis. So there's a full risk disclosure, a little bit about us as live session traders. Let's go look at the charts. Well, thank you for the Eurozone. Yes, they're obviously that's going to be a push to lower interest rates. So, which will mean, well, Euro may actually be a bit less volatile. Yesterday we had figures here that our annual growth is going potentially going negative. So they're saying, oh yes, well this is going to be the impetus for another 2 or 3, at least. Well, they're saying probably 3 more rate cuts this year. So because they don't want it to go down lower, just like Eurozone. We'll just see whether they can kick it or not. But they were sort of talking about the wacko in the US that's causing all of this instability. They've got to find some excuse anyway. Right, AD well, and then push down again. It seems to be going a bit sideways here at the moment. Still in the trade, still positive. We'll see what happens. Non-farm payroll. And not really a lot of news to come up, so we'll just see. This one is interest rate is supposed to stay the same in Japan, in Canada. Good evening, Darren.
Right.
Oh, we've got you today without any alien voice. So yes, right. You were talking a bit about bots and stuff yesterday, or EAs or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
To try and take advantage. We might, if you want to go into that a bit more or not. Anyway, let's go through some pairs. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Right, yeah, AED, Jeff, I'm still in this as well. It's done a little push up, and again, I'm just going to hang around in that crossover with, prices now crossing over whatever the name is, and it's still pushing out a bit, but nothing's with any pace at all, which is okay as long as I just keep going in that direction. ADJPY, it's sideways, lots of wicks, crazy stuff. Potentially a push down. We'll see. What's this one? I'll just balance. That's all right. Okay, ADNZD, still in that one, aren't you? Darren?
No.
Hopefully. No, you're out of it.
Knowingly, again, spread.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Annoying because it's sort of slowly continuing down.
What, just a little spike? Oh, because you'd moved your stop loss down, had you?
Well, I was following like the 2-candle rule.
Right.
Just visually looking on TradingView, it looked plenty, but I think it was probably about 50 pips or something. But
yeah,
spreads sort of early in the Asian session, bang, took it out, and
yeah.
I mean, what I've been doing, but because I was traveling last night, I didn't get a chance. But I've been looking at some like the SGD pairs I mentioned.
That you've dropped them out, yeah,
and a couple of others, AUD, NZD, around market change or just before market change. Or I've been temporarily increasing the stop loss. I didn't get the chance last night, and sure enough, bang, it took me out. So,
Yeah, if you're relying on doing something that you're not able to get to, then there's a problem with that, isn't it? I
yeah,
mean, you need to have something
yeah.
that could.
I mean, I'll probably continue to trade AUD but I'm taking these SGD pairs
Mhm.
off my sort of watch list because it's just getting frustrating. It's happened a few times. You know, I've seen like 100 pip spreads sometimes.
Wow. That's a
Oh
lot.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
That is a
Tom. That's
lot.
yeah, yeah.
um, so just not worth the hassle, really.
And I suppose then too, Darren, if they're in your mix, what happens
Yeah,
is you tend, from a psychological perspective, treat them like all the others. So you
yeah,
would only sort of, you got to remember, if it's an SGD, that you've got to actually use a much larger stop on it, and whether that's
yeah,
financially viable. Fair enough.
yeah,
Um, they are different in the way they behave to
yeah.
some. Well, they still go up and down, but they do have those spreads that need to be considered.
Yeah.
All right
I mean,
then.
the spreads are okay once once it settles down, but it's just as I say, it's just that
That
it's that kind of
spike,
it's that yeah.
the changeover.
Yeah, and then
Mm.
market opening as well on our Sunday evening.
Yeah,
You know, some massive spreads on some of
yeah,
these.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
But there's massive spreads on lots of pairs though at that point too.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, ADNZD that I never trade, but I mean, previously, I'm still in trade. The same thing happened to me when I got into this. It spiked up and was spread, knocked me out. But I've
Yeah.
maintained a larger spread on it, and I tend to be still in it at the moment. It's come down here, pushed back up. I mean, I can see it potentially pushing back down. We've got red, we've got white, unless things change in here dramatically. The point for me would be if we get prices slightly above the last completed brick, and if it comes up and breaks a wick on the red, red wick on this brick, then I would potentially consider getting out of it. But like those things need to occur. I'm sort of been watching it now, Tom, over time, considering what do you do at what point. Anyway, so I'm only going to be going through these Singapore ones for me now, it looks like. But there's nothing there to play with as far as I'm concerned at the moment.
If anything, if you're worried about those big spreads, Brian, in trading the
I'm not.
Singapore,
Yeah.
do you get those big spreads?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so if I could make a suggestion, would be
Mhm.
that would be my test pages. I would never take a trade there, but I would run tests all the time on them with practice testing.
Yeah.
Because all the rest will fall in line if it's easy to you on the hard one.
Totally agree. Yeah. Well,
Just a suggestion.
I'm looking at this one to be able to, potentially for this to sell. But you've got where both of these trend lines, that's what they're called, both of these trend lines are now sort of come down, nearly touched each other and then going off. So there's a lot of pack in here, which is not giving me a direction one way or the other. And you look in there at standard candles, it's exactly the same thing. You could be quite easily sucked into going, there'll be a long, and yes, it'll go, but I'm not really convinced at the moment. Only that the Aussie dollar, I think, is going to continue being temporarily weakened because of what conditions we have here anyway. Potentially employment coming off the boil. They've increased the minimum wage. Economically, the country is not producing, what is productivity is really down. That needs to change. So there's a whole lot of factors. They're going to lower the interest rate a number of times, which anyway. So over time, I think we'll see more of a sellout. AUD/USD is sort of like the one to tell, but at the moment, this US dollar is weakened off as well. And if you had got into, say, a buy over here, that'd be all right for it to just play around at the moment. But I didn't, and it's not worth looking at that until it wants to sell out. So that's like the Aussie, you'd have to weaken against the US dollar. But it's not traveling well. And I think in the US, inflation is increasing, which means they're not going to be having interest rate cuts. They're trying to, it will potentially bring more back into US. But the whole tariff thing has really put everything on its head at the moment. Okay, CAD CHF. Again, nothing. It's just sitting around in this band. Frustrating for us as longer term relaxed type traders to get into a trade for something that it's just nothing convincing there. CAD JPY again, pushes up nicely but then pulls back down on you. Really big wicks, just nasty stuff. Having to have larger stop losses, which reduces your potential profit percentage, which then you work out, well, is it worth being in the trade for a small move? And it's not. All right, CHF JPY again, all sideways. We'll see what happens on tomorrow night sort of thing, non-phone payroll, but I don't know whether that will anyway, yet to see. Euro AUD. Now we're both let's pull back. I'm looking at this to buy. The issue that we've got now is Euro is looking at lowering their interest rate. I think we're just going to get sideways on this, to be honest. And I don't know, where's the inflation rate? Inflation rate must be hiding on here somewhere, is it? No. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that was the. So I can't see it really doing anything. We'll just have to see what happens when the interest rate kicks in, which won't be until when's that? That's that's your tomorrow, Darren, in slight afternoon, I think. What's that? That's US Open, isn't it? Or New York Open.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be asleep, so I'm not willing to put a trade on that at the moment. All right, euros and Euro NZD will be maybe a similar thing. Euro CAD again, up down, and nothing there. Euro CHF again, up down, nothing there. Euro GBP is the only one I think has been moving. I've been looking for that to buy, but it's like really doesn't want to do that at the moment. It's not any sort of foreseeable reason. And it looks like that euro and British pound seem to be sort of around a similar sort of price. Now, whether it does buy, we'll see. We've got, though, it's still in a downtrend, and it has not quite made this line that you were talking about, Tom. So maybe it'll push down to here before it does start to come back up. All right, Euro JPY. Again, would have been nice down
It's
here.
I'm sorry. I was trying to say it's already starting to come back.
The Euro GBP.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what you're saying. Then this is a swing low, and it's getting ready to push back up.
No, I'm saying it's already turning around to come back down.
Oh yes. Oh, absolutely.
Coming back down to that yellow line.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
what I'm saying.
yeah. To the orange line. Yeah, no worries at all. I agree. So if it does, I'd put a buy stop in. See where I've got that white. That for me potentially be a buy stop. Or that could move down as well. Depends on how far this pushes down. If it comes down to here, then maybe we'll be able to bring this as an entry down lower, or it'll be around the box. We'll see.
Well, also that top box should be down at those two bottom boxes now, because that's your new high.
This one down here.
The top one.
Yeah, this one's got to move. Yeah, you're saying down.
Oh
to
yeah,
there.
yeah, down there. There you go.
Yeah. I understand. So it's bouncing between before they go. I'm going to take that one out. We don't need that. But what I was thinking here is if it came up, pushed up, came back down. When it comes back up, this could be an entry, but maybe not. We'll just see.
No, your entry's down there at your yellow line.
Down here.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let it finish pushing through,
And
then
come
take
back
the
up.
entry when it turns.
Yeah. That's what I said. This would need to move depending on what happens with price now. Yeah, okay. Well, that would have. Oh, yeah, no, that's all right. So if they lower the interest rate, it'll probably drop it off. I'm just thinking out loud from a fundamental. It could then drop the price down a bit, and then once it recovers, then it'll push back up again. And maybe that's the point. And we have non-farm payroll probably run into. Okay. Euro JPY, nothing really. Just very gun shy on these JPYs, Darren. And it's not doing too much. They're just slow movers. Euro NZD, again, going sideways. I would see this because they lowered interest rates as well. I'd see this to come off, but against the euro, again, just see what happens. It's just too much up and down in one spot. We do have a red and a white there, so I mean potentially this is to sell out, and potentially it would be to have a sell stop in place. But at the moment, it's just not going to. It needs to take that, pull back up, and then look for a sell out on it. Euro Singapore, which I do trade. Now, I'm looking for this to have the trend lines start to kiss off on this to push back up again. But that's not a not a positive situation. Looking at both of these is actually quite helpful. Euro USD, again, not really it could push up further. Look, I think it'll do a pullback before it does, if it is. All right, GBPs. Now, they've been pretty strong. Yeah, I just sort of see them bouncing around this whole top section there. Well, if they break that point, still going down. If they don't, because they've just kiss together here, the trend bars. It might just come down and then take off again. That's something to watch on that one. GCAD. Again, sideways. Doesn't want to push up past here. Then green to push down, back into green. Going to need to do some sort of a drop off. The British pounds are quite strong. This one. Unemployment rate. Okay. Oh yeah, Darren, you put the bit in the chat, didn't you, about the fact of the what do you call it? The treasurer. No, what's he called?
Yeah.
The exchequer or something.
Governor of the Bank of England, yeah.
Yeah, saying that they're not looking at lowering interest rates at this point in time with what's currently happening.
So the previous sort of expectations on interest rates, they've sort of, they've sort of backed away from that now. Sort of, it's going to be much slower than any sort of interest rate cuts.
Which
because of Mr. Trump.
Yeah, but which could then keep the British pound stronger than lots of other currencies as well then.
Which generally it is, isn't it? It is generally strong.
Yeah, except for like when it does these sorts of things.
Yeah.
All right, GJ. Again. Well, it's a sort of sideways movement at the moment. I think it's come up to I hate to say, but I'm seeing the potential for the British pound to weaken off. But for a while, just to get a sellout and then potentially back up. GN. Yeah, I'm looking at buy, but I'm thinking now we're into potentially into selling it off. Again, you've got these trend bars so close together here, where this is what you want. You want them to be further apart and just to keep pushing up and staying green, for example. But at the moment, it's very undecided. All right, GBP and Singapore. Yeah, that Singapore dollar's weakened off. They just had their election as well. I'm going to look at this one for... Oh, I should have got into that there. Yeah, well, that's what I was looking at. That's right. Oh, we'll see if it does a little pullback. Let's still get into that. All right, and GU. Wow.
Yeah, still slowly working its way up.
Yeah, ever so slowly.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it's anytime soon going to pull itself back. So I think at any point, it's probably a good idea to get this. If it breaks up past this little red wick, but it would have been good to get it there. Yeah, maybe earlier. That's where I missed that. Okay. See if we get a little pullback. All right, NZDs, forget them. Look at them. Sideways, sideways, sideways. There's something going on. New Zealand dollars just, except for NU, it's pushing up. You're still in that, Darren?
NU, yeah.
Yeah, that's been okay. It hasn't moved any rate of knots, but it's still pushing up, just like the
GU, yeah.
Yeah, like GU. Yeah. I mean, AU is as well, but it's not any sort of, would have had to get it back down here somewhere. All right, Singapore, Japanese yen. Yeah, okay. UCAD, this is the one where rats. That's dropped off nicely, hasn't it? That would be a good profit there. Oh, I'll wait for a pullback and then we'll see. Anyway, okay. I've got some profit out of it. You USD CHF, same sort of thing. A bit further to push down as well. And a UJ as well. They're dancing around like for 3-4 days. They're just doing nothing. Non-farm payroll, I think, will be the push. USD in Singapore, that is still going down as well. So all the US dollars, down they go. Now, non-farm payroll may give it a kick and then hopefully it'll continue down. That's what I would like. AUD, XAU, so gold pushing back up again. Hasn't broken the high though. Broke that. You didn't get into that long, Darren. Gold. No. Oh, you're muted. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean gold and silver.
Oh, right. Okay.
Rise, yeah.
Geez, that silver just took off. Look at it.
Yeah, it did. It did.
It's pulled back now, but I haven't seen a move like that on silver.
Yeah, I don't know what caused that. I just
I don't know either. You'd think the gold would be anyway. Silver's a bit of the meek and mild sort of cousin, but it's
it tends to lag
yeah,
gold, doesn't it? Silver, but
yeah. But the gold didn't take off at the same sort of extent.
No.
Anyway, all right. Bitcoin still around that 105, going sideways. Maybe the weekend might change it a bit. There tend to be weekend warriors on the old Bitcoin. And US oil, very much a sideways movement. I don't know whether this is just like this is where the bottom is. This is where they can still. I think the word is that if it's $60 US, it's not it's break even. They can't make any money, and it doesn't cost them to extract, but they're not making anything. They want price to go up, but it sort of doesn't want to go down too low at the moment, and it's still very much a sideways movement. But again, things are pretty dormant. The only ones are those looking for those GBPs. If I can grab a few of those, I'm still in those AUDs. Anyway, hopefully they still want to bomb out on us. So yeah, there's the Bank of Canada make the decision to keep the interest rate on hold as well. That happened yesterday, or that's your today. Right. Well, there you go. So what's happening with EAs, Darren?
EAs. Well, I'm just really sort of quite into it. Just looking into them. Really, there's so much that's out there now. Tempted to avoid the ones with the flash cars and that are bombarding Facebook and so on. But
yeah,
but you'll find on YouTube and particularly on YouTube, people who sort of review these things, review them, test them, and almost like what the top 10 EAs are and that sort of things. You find lots of that. I was looking at something just before this call I hadn't come across before. EA Trading Academy. I found it on YouTube. They've got a website, found it on YouTube, and they're regularly sort of testing these things. And
yeah,
they go through it on YouTube, show you what they're doing, and then they'll sort of come back to it and tell you how it's going and what sort of settings they're using. They test them on demo accounts.
Yeah.
Then sort of move to live, depending on results. And And then they've got something I was reading where they have the top 10 robots, trading robots, what they can think of the current top 10.
Yeah.
All into one EA. So they're all at the same time. The sort of rationale behind that is apparently that sort of smooths the equity curve. So if one's not, one's not performing particularly well, it's sort of more than compensated for by others. So you get this sort of smoother equity curve, and then they'll sort of update that as well. So one of them might drop out to the top 10, and they'll put another one in there, and so that sounds interesting. It's just so much of it, really. And if you can find people who are really into it and properly review these things, and not out to sort of sell you a dream.
Yeah.
Genuine sort of EA geeks that are out there. It can be quite interesting.
Yeah, it's let me just share. This is, have you I'll just do this. So if you go, there are all these. This is my Vex book. Have got a a number of, I don't know what the Thunderbots. Like, I don't know why it's got so many there, but anyway. That one.
Yeah, I mean, you want to look at ones that are on my FX book, and they've got sort of verified track record, and
if you look at these sorts of things, like this just gold. This just trades gold. This one short-term trading has passed back tests for 20 years. 10% drawdown limit since 2019. So you can actually copy them. It just depends on what's this, $30 US a month. And this is actually on an IC markets, Singapore dollar. It's on a MetaTrader 4. So it just shows you this sort of that sort of thing. Now, I've followed quite a few of these, and they tend to, that looks great, but then they tend to crash and burn.
Yeah. They'll do it. They can do at some point.
Yeah.
All them.
Well, all the figures are in here, like, shows you numbers of pips and 73% win rate, average time that you're in a trade, what sort of lots have been taken, the factor 0.05% daily. Yeah, 1.5% a month, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So the balance is, what's that? 2,900,000, is it? Something like that. So, yeah. And they've taken 2 million out of it or something. Anyway, this is all just drawdown. Is some of the issues where you'll be in there for drawdown.
That's a lot. I mean, 45% is a lot. I wouldn't. That wouldn't be for me.
And 300%.
I'd be looking for ones with. Yeah, I'd be looking for ones with lower drawdown.
Yeah. Well, if you come back here, you got all of these. Like, they're just like heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps and heaps. There's hundreds of them. And they all look pretty good. But see, the thing is, you got to pay a monthly fee to copy, and then you have a monthly fee to so you can see this is what's this one here, for example. That's $500 a month.
So you can just buy outright, and you just have to run it yourself. Put it on your.
Yeah, true. These are all ones to copy.
Yeah.
So what you do is you pay a monthly fee to copy. You use a copy thing, across to your account. But again, I've tried a number of them, and they're not, even just onto just a test account, just to try and test them out. But you're paying to do that. So anyway, that's some of that sort of thing that's there anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's lots of them out there. Lots.
Oh, there are. There's absolutely loads.
So yeah.
I mean, have a look at that on YouTube. EA Academy.
Oh no, I haven't done that.
There's a couple of guys just go on YouTube and just have a look at some of their videos where they
okay.
where they test these robots. And there's one video where one of them is testing out actually a free one that's actually free. You can get it for free out there. And that was quite profitable. Doesn't cost anything.
EA Academy on YouTube. Yeah, okay.
Just watch a few of their videos. I've only just started watching them. They're quite interesting to watch.
Share that to you. Oh, what happened there?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Sharpshooter. Yeah. You scroll down, you can see various robots they've sort of reviewed and tested.
Yeah.
As I say, I haven't done it, but I was just having a look before. If you join their website, there is something you can buy off them, and it sort of combines the top 10 sort of into one EA, the top 10 robots, and sort of update it. It looks quite interesting.
They say that. It's like,
yeah.
How would you know, all that sort of thing?
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, interesting.
Some of the videos are interesting, worth a look at.
Yeah, on this, yeah.
I think there's one there. In fact, you scroll down, it's free. Does it say free EA?
Yeah, there's free EA, that one. Free Euro USD. Without coding for MT4, MT5. FTMA robot, sure. AI trading.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, EA's allowed him to quit his job. Yeah.
FX stabilizer. I've seen that before. That's quite.
Where's that? Oh, this one. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that before mentioned. It seems to be quite a good one.
Okay.
But yeah, that's when you can just buy off the shelf, and I haven't done it, but you can basically buy it, and you've just got to
put it on your
put it on your
computer,
and that's it. You got it for life, and it's sort of up to you.
But a lot of these, I don't know whether they, as you were talking yesterday, martingale type stuff. You don't want to. They're pretty easy crashing. They go all right for a little while, and then they just crash.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they do. You don't want to. And I think some of these flash people you see on Facebook that are promoting these things. I think that's what a lot of that is. They go all right for a bit, and then they just crash, and then the person disappears.
Yeah.
And they make the money through recruiting people, recruiting customers to a broker. Commission. That's what they're doing.
Oh, exactly.
So you get everybody piling in. So you can use my robot for free. I'll connect you for free to my robot. All you have to do is open an account with our affiliated broker.
Yeah.
So they recruit hundreds of people, get the commission, and then as you say, eventually the robot goes haywire.
Yeah. Just looking. Yeah, here's what I've been. Oh, hang on. No, I don't want to do that. This is an English one. Hang on a minute. This is English. I think I've mentioned this before. POW.
I think you did, yeah. You know what? I was thinking the other day, I thought to myself, I'm sure Brian mentioned one once. And I've written it down. I'll try to remember. I'll make a note of that POW. Yeah. Prisoner of war.
Yeah, yeah, could be.
Yeah.
Um,
POW, yeah. I'll have a look at that.
mm. So it's a monthly fee, and they have an EA and a whole lot of different bits and pieces as well here. I think if you look at apply, once it takes you off on here, you got to fill out some application. Rubbish. Okay. Anyway, just something in there.
Yeah.
But it's yeah.
Instant funded account.
Well, you got to pay. Yeah, they sort out a funded account as well, provided, and they're and they obviously set that sort of thing up. Anyway, you can have a look at that.
Yeah, I'll have a look at that.
Okay. But again, there's lots of stuff. I'll have a look at that academy thing if we get some time.
Yeah, just have a look at the odd video and see what they're about.
You had some EAs that you put that were for gold and stuff there too. They still...
what the ballet one, it's sort of flat-lined and wins and losses, and then it's done about 6% in the last couple of days. So I don't know if it's finally taking off or it's just I don't know. So it's not performed spectacularly, but the account's fine. It's not.
Yeah.
There's no drawdown really. So every trade has a proper sales stop loss and a TP and a trading stop.
Yeah, but it's whether it will recoup. It depends on how much you're going to have in the account. What will it recoup what you're actually paying, or are you just paying the fee and making that amount out of it with the amount that you actually have in the account? So
I'll do it for 6 to 12 months. See how we're going. I say it's up 6% in June, having sort of pretty much flatlined, sort of March, April, May. With some wins and losses, and not really. I think I think Barley said it performs best in a trending market. Remember the beginning of the year, January, I think it was, gold went on this run, and you could have doubled your account if you'd have been running it then in a month, sort of thing. And obviously the market's changed since then, and but yeah.
But there were other ones also too that you had.
Well, CBOT, yeah. Again, that's been about 12 months now, so they've sort of been up and down a bit, so I haven't really delivered what I thought. And I suppose I've just started looking into them a lot more now, and kind of more sort of YouTube videos, and just find out a bit more. I mean, the good thing is I've not lost anything by doing them so far. Just.
Well, that's the thing. Have they? I suppose that's what I'm asking. Not to be too, but have they crashed and burned?
No, I'm not been sort of marked.
But you, it's basically break even on a lot of those.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a little bit of investigation. We'll just see what's there might be other stuff available. Obviously, now that we might look at there'll be stuff coming in on our Facebook feeds. So here's another EA to look at.
Yeah. There's so many out there.
Yeah.
I think most of them you can just really ignore, really. But yeah. But I'm gonna have a look at that EA Academy anyway. That was quite interesting. They do a lot of YouTube videos.
Which one? POW?
No, the
the
EA.
Academy.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
I'll do that on top of that EA Academy.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll have a look at that as well.
Throw a lot of YouTube videos out there and give you those sort of views on them, and if they go in, and then they sort of come back to it later in the video and they'll say, well, this one hit sort of 49% drawdown. So for me, that's too much. So I won't be running that on a live account. So they do seem to give you sort of honest views on these things. So
yeah, well, that's all right then. Yeah, but you also, I mean, some of them, if you just run it on your own account, you really want to have them running on a funded account, to be honest.
Yeah.
One that you can.
Yeah.
That's why I sort of like look at the POW, because if they're willing to have a funded account that you can. Anyway, it's still, significant amount per month that they're asking to be able to be part of a group as such. So, which is maybe not dissimilar to what we started out with, I suppose, IM Academy type stuff.
Yeah. So they've like a phoenix from the ashes, haven't they? They've re-emerged as something else, haven't they?
You mean Paul and the rest of the group? Yeah. They've moved over to, and what's his name? The American guy. Whoever, anyway. Yeah, they've all moved over to some new one that they can now promote, which will crash and burn because the FTC will close them down.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Allowed to do that. I'm just not into necessarily paying a monthly without getting some return out of it.
I think that is they're going to start. I think the authorities are going to start looking at some of these robots soon, aren't they? Clamping down on that. So focusing on these, obviously, people who are promoting them. They're going to start.
I don't think they can. I think they're just too random out there. It's like they just move it from one to another. It's just,
if you can find some really good ones and buy it outright, you've got it on your computer, then there's not a lot they can do then once you've got it. It's
correct. Yeah. And there's plenty of ability to copy as well. So that's not a hard thing to organize as well. And you can use VPSs to be able to.
Well, you need one of those. You can leave them running.
Yeah, correct.
Turn your computer off, or when you go away on holiday, so you can.
Correct. Yeah.
The robot
and just monitor it on your phone.
Yeah.
Anyway,
all right.
It's nothing that we're doing at the moment, but we'll update each other if we get something happening.
Yeah. Absolutely.
All right then.
All right then.
No worries.
Okay.
Until tomorrow, the end of the week, and then it'll be non-farm payrolls. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You're okay, Tom?
Yeah, all good stuff.
No worries. Okay then. Take it easy.
All right.
Okay. See ya.
Ciao.